my name is Danny. Welcome to Jones Vibes. Last night I had the opportunity to get out and see Ballerina. I think it's more properly called From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right now. I was not that excited for this movie whatsoever. John Wick is one of my favorite action franchises of all time, but spin-offs are just a very interesting thing. And when I heard about this Ballerina thing, to me it almost sounded like a cash grab. I feel like now after watching this movie, I shouldn't have been feeling that way, but even watching the trailer, I kind of was like, I don't know, it didn't really seem like something I was going to be that into. I do like Ana de Armas, and I do like this world, so like all of the ingredients were there. Just for whatever reason, I wasn't that excited about it, but then I went and sat down, and this movie took whatever expectations I had and threw them out the window and proceeded to just blow my mind at every single turn, and also prove to me that this is a worthwhile installment in the John Wick franchise. It was a lot of freaking fun, and so I'm happy to be talking about it today. This will be a spoiler-free review. I'm going to be tiptoeing around some spoilers, kind of like a ballerina. Please laugh at my jokes. But without further ado, let's dive into this thing. So, the synopsis reads, an assassin trained in the traditions of the Ruska Roma organization sets out to seek revenge after her father's death. And honestly, right away within this movie, you realize that it is kind of following that similar format, right? You have the John Wick franchise, specifically the first John Wick movie. You have this guy, he loses his dog, then he's seeking revenge. In this movie, you have this girl losing her dad, but then seeking revenge after that, but it's bigger. That's something that surprised me and also earned the respect of the spin-off type thing. You realize really quickly, okay, this world's already been built out for me. There are these characters that might be popping up throughout the entire thing that you notice, and so automatically, as soon as you get into the opening scene, you're like, oh, this isn't as nearly as much of an isolated story as John Wick is. You know what I mean? Like, you're already familiar with this world, so you can kind of leave some of that stuff at the door and just follow along and enjoy. And I wouldn't say that this movie did anything to blow me away within the first act. Actually, within the first act, I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is more in line with what I was thinking it was going to be, just kind of like a predictable copy of John Wick, but with this new ballerina character, with Ana de Armas. But then you get into the second act, and then you get into the third act, and what I'll say is this action movie managed to pull off something that you rarely see in movies, let alone action films. This movie continues to ramp up the action, continues to ramp up the tension, and it just gets better and better with every single scene. Again, that's not something you notice. Sometimes it's like, all right, the first act was pretty good, the second act kind of sucked, and the third act made up for it. But in this movie, it's literally, it just gets better until the ending scene, and that is what is so much fun about it. It hits a point maybe about midway through where that action level starts to match the John Wick franchise, and certain things start to happen where you just kind of felt the theater. You felt the energy in the theater go, oh, okay, everybody's trust immediately locked in, and we're like, okay, we're good to go, actually. This movie is freaking sick. The stunt choreography was absolutely fantastic. The stunts in general were fantastic, but a lot of John Wick's appeal comes down to the tactical stuff, and the way that Ana de Armas pulls that stuff off, it's really, really impressive. You know, watching Keanu do it is one thing. You're always just like, it's like watching Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie. Only he can do that. Only Keanu can do a lot of the stuff tactically, but you have Ana de Armas in this, and she freaking does all of that stuff. It's amazing. She must have trained so hard for this, but she really was the perfect actress to step into this. One of the things that I liked, and maybe some other people might not like about it, but whenever she kills somebody or does something crazy, she doesn't kind of like smirk to the camera or say anything under her breath that's trying to get the audience going or make the audience laugh. I think it's really easy to rely on that, to have like this absurd thing happen and then have the main character say something for like a cheap gag. She remains very stoic the entire time, and the things happening around her are so absurd that it's causing the audience to kind of lose their minds. I really like that. I could see some people being like, she wasn't funny enough, you know what I mean? But I just really enjoyed her performance, and truly this elevated her as an actress to me in a big way. Like Knives Out, I always thought she was great. Obviously Blade Runner 2049, there are a lot of things that she's been in, but this was the role that kind of cemented for me like, oh, okay, I can see why she's getting cast in these big roles, you know what I mean? But again, it is a little bit easier for her because she's stepping into an already established franchise, so she doesn't have to fully put this thing on her back and be like, okay, let's prove to the world that this works. The world already works, they just have to make a movie that works around her, and they absolutely did, and they brought back a lot of the fan favorites. I do want to call out Lance Reddick because it was so great to see him in this movie movie one final time. I had kind of forgotten, just because it's been a little bit of time since this movie's been in production, that, you know, Lance Reddick passed away. I didn't think he was going to be in this movie. I didn't expect to see him. For whatever reason, I had heard he had filmed the last role, and I thought that maybe it was in that TV show, The Continental, or something like that, which I didn't see The Continental. Let me know down in the comments if that show is any good. I'd like to watch it. But you also have Ian McShane as Winston. You know, you have her checking into these Continentals, which really adds to that world. And also, if you go see this movie, it is in the same world, so there is potential for you to go see John Wick. Who knows? I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I think it's already been spoiled for some people within the trailers and online what happens with that, whether he shows up or not, but this exists in that world. So whatever you're looking for as far as like payoff and Easter eggs and stuff like that, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff, and I also think you're going to be really satisfied because a lot of the stuff works. Some of the stuff doesn't work. Some of the stuff almost feels shoehorned in, but the movie is just so freaking badass that it just kind of does work. Overall, at the end of it, you're like, okay, well, cool. But also, I do want to highlight the director of this film, Len Wiseman. I think he did a really great job. Obviously, it's not directed by Chad Stahelski, and you'd love to see that, but what Len did stepping in, I think he did a really good job. There were some reshoots, and apparently Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves kind of stepped in and put some final touches on the movie, and I think you can see that maybe towards the end. Things just feel very John Wick towards the end. Like, the action gets to that level where it's just blowing your mind, set piece after set piece. But the movie that I think probably existed before some of those reshoots, I think was pretty good. I think overall I would have enjoyed that as well, but I'm just happy that this franchise came together, this team came together as a collective, and they got this thing done. Truly, I think this is probably the most pleasantly surprised I'm going to be with a movie all year. And some freaking how, and people might call bullshit on this, but I truly feel this way right now. I think that I liked this movie more than Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Definitely not more than Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 or Fallout, but I think I liked this movie more. And if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, that I would be liking Ballerina more than the final Mission Impossible film, I'd call you crazy, but here we are. It's a really good movie. It's super bloody. You have some of the craziest gunfighting you'll ever see. You got grenades, you have flamethrowers, maybe. You have some of the coolest battles with the most surprising things you'll ever see. And you also have the absurdity of the John Wick franchise. Some things happen in this movie that you just can't help but laugh. Everybody is a hitman, and that's the best thing ever. Also, you'll notice within this thing that some of the set pieces, like where a lot of the final act is taking place, it's just really unique. It's really, really cool, and the way that they set up her entire story makes it so we could get another one of these. I really hope the audience shows up now. I know I was a doubter. I'm no longer a doubter. I hope the audience goes and watches this movie so that we can get a sequel greenlit, because it deserves it, man. Ana de Armas deserves it. This whole team deserves it. Phenomenal movie, Ballerina. Go see it. Get your tickets. But as for my Jones Vibe star rating, I am giving Ballerina 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's not perfect, but it's damn close. But if you've seen Ballerina, please go down to the comments section down below. Leave me all of your thoughts. I would love to hear your opinions. But more than anything, my friends, make sure to keep up the good vibes. Hope you guys are having a good day. I will see you in the next video. See ya. All right, goodbye. Bye.